So a bunch of guys asked me how you're supposed to be able to train on Vince Gironda's steak and eggs diet, okay? Because it's a lot fewer calories than most people who train with weights are used to taking in a day. For those who don't know, real quick, Vince Gironda was a bodybuilder from the 50s. He was a major training and nutrition guru in like the 60s and 70s. You know, he did Arnold Schwarzenegger's nutrition back in the day. He did, you know, Larry Scott, the first Mr. Olympia. He did his training for him. So he was like a very well-respected guy. He came up with the diet, which was basically he ate 3/4 pound of steak in the morning and 3 eggs fried in butter, and the same thing at night, and 1 salad a day. He did it for 9 months. He got lean as hell, okay? And he says towards the end, he was actually building muscle, not just getting lean, but he was actually building lean muscle. And he suggested you do that, okay? Meat and eggs, 2 meals a day if you're trying to lose fat primarily. If you're trying to recompose your body where you lose fat and build muscle, do 3 meals a day, as much as you want. Just meat, just eggs, and everything fried in butter. Now, a lot of people go on this diet, and they said, one guy said he felt in the gym like he had never lifted weights his entire life. He just felt extremely weak. So there are a couple different reasons for this, okay? Now, first of all, I want to say that it's a cutting diet, okay? It's not a mass building diet. It's a diet for somebody who wants to maintain his strength, maintain his muscle, and lose fat, okay? That's the reason why Vince Gironda came up with that. He was getting ready for a bodybuilding contest when he developed the diet. Now, okay, is it possible to build muscle on the diet? Yes, okay? Is it possible to build muscle and lose fat at the same time? Yes, it certainly is. However, like I said, the point is it's not primarily intended as a bulking diet, okay? So that's the first thing you need to know. However, since it's so high fat, you're not going to be as hungry as on a normal cutting diet. And because it's high fat, you're just going to raise your testosterone. You know, it's just going to be better in terms of, because it's high fat and high protein, you're not going to lose muscle on this diet. But like I said, it's not intended to be a bulking diet. Now, another thing is it's a low carb diet. If you've never been on low carbs before, you can't really expect to jump on a low carb diet and to feel great, okay? As a matter of fact, the bigger the problem you have living without carbohydrates, the higher the chances are that you're carb sensitive, insulin sensitive, carb addicted like I am, which means the harder it is to start the steak and eggs diet, the worse you feel in the beginning, the more you need to rid your body of carbs, okay, handle your carb addiction and live on fat and protein. Because I feel great, and I always had problems going on low carb diets in the beginning. So, assuming, however, that, you know, you're through the keto flu, you've got your electrolytes taken care of. A lot of times people need extra salt, sometimes extra salt, potassium, magnesium, because they can't retain water in the beginning. After a while, you don't need as much. Make sure you're drinking enough water so you're not dehydrated. That should get you through any problems with your electrolytes, the keto flu, whatever. So now let's say you're actually on the steak and eggs diet, okay? Now we're going to get to Vince Gironda's training style, okay? Vince Gironda was a bodybuilder. Vince Gironda trained bodybuilders. He did not train power lifters, Olympic lifters. He didn't train gymnasts. He didn't train sprinters. He trained bodybuilders. He was a big fan of the fact that, what he used to say, most of bodybuilding is an illusion, okay? Make your shoulders bigger to make your waist look smaller. Make your waist smaller to make your shoulders look bigger, etc., okay? Don't overdevelop muscles that will make you look unaesthetic. Develop the important muscles that will give you a V-taper as much as possible, etc., okay? So he wasn't exactly the sort of person that would have you doing cardio. He wasn't exactly the sort of person that would have you doing long, drawn-out athletic types of workouts. He wasn't the kind of person who would have you doing long, drawn-out bodybuilding workouts, okay? You know, one of the things he did was, like, let's say 10 sets of 10. You'll do 10 sets of an exercise with 30 seconds rest in between, and you'll just get a pump and get a pump and get a pump and get a pump. You know, he didn't expect you to do that forever. It was just a short-term thing to bring up a lagging body part, and that was like basically your whole workout. So with me, for instance, if I'm just doing calisthenics, even weighted calisthenics, I'll probably do pretty good on the steak and eggs diet. If I do calisthenics and then I do like a half an hour of karate training on the bag, if I do calisthenics and I do karate training on the bag and I do an hour of jump rope intervals as well, if I do, burpee intervals on another day, now we're starting to say that I might have a little bit of an issue with getting enough energy from the steak and eggs diet, okay? Because the steak and eggs diet is low calorie. I mean, I know at one point, I think it was it 2 meals of a half a pound of round steak and 3 eggs. I'm not sure. But basically, it was 2 or 3 meals a day. It came down to like 1,600 calories. Now, if you consider the butter that I was adding to the food that I ate, because I fried everything in butter, maybe it went up, to like, 2,200, 2,400. But that's not a whole lot of calories, okay? So what I'm basically trying to say is, if you're just doing a bodybuilding type workout where all you do is lift weights or do calisthenics or whatever, and you don't do a marathon long session, and if you don't do a lot of cardio, you'll probably be okay. So, like I said, the people that have problems taking in, on the steak and eggs diet are probably the people who are doing a lot more work than is expected for somebody on a normal old school bodybuilding type workout. Because let's say you are an athlete in training, let's say you are trying to bulk, let's say you are actually burning a lot of calories through cardio and other activity. The fact of the matter is, there are plenty of people in the world who only eat twice a day or even 1 meal a day. Serge Nubret, okay, one of my favorite bodybuilders ever, was known to eat only 1 meal a day. Okay, he didn't eat just meat and eggs. He also ate, I think, beans and some rice sometimes. But in general, he would eat 1 meal a day. Now, it must, of course, be a colossal meal for him to get in everything that he needs. But the fact of the matter is, on the steak and eggs diet, you're allowed to eat 2 times a day or 3 times a day, as much as you want. So what I'm basically saying is, if you're still hungry on the steak and eggs diet, if you feel like you're lacking energy, just eat more in those 2 meals or those 3 meals a day. If you are eating enough and you're not hungry, but you still feel like you're lacking energy, then definitely look into your electrolytes, look into your water consumption, see if you are actually fat adapted yet, because the answer is probably no, okay? If you're eating as much as you want, that you're not hungry, you're still lacking energy and you're still feeling weak, you probably don't have enough water in your body because you're not drinking it or because your electrolytes aren't at the level they should be to help you retain the water that you drink.